Hello Stampers, and welcome to Laura's Stamp Pad. Today I just wanted to show you a little bit of how I like to stamp with those big, large images. So this is the Watercolor Wash Stamp Set, and this is one of the large background images. I have this in the clear, so I use it with the large clear block stamp. This is block F. Of course, you can always get these in the wood block as well, and then of course you mount it directly onto that wood block, and so then it's always ready to go and ready to stamp. Another one that I really like to use is the hardwood one, and after I did the video, I'll put a link down below to the butterflies with that hardwood. I had a question about stamping with the giant stamps, and people were having some difficulty with that. So I totally understand. There's a couple different ways that I do it, and it just kind of depends on my mood, or if the first one didn't work, then I try it the other way. So one of the things that I do, I have little bitty hands, and so to go like this can sometimes be really hard because it just barely fits my hand. So I usually like to, first of all, ink up my image with it laying down. So here I have one of the new in colors, Peekaboo Peach. Super fabulous. And I like to ink mine up almost in like the reverse way, where I'm actually inking up the stamp rather than stamping onto the ink pad. So I want to make sure I get it all nice and inked up really well, since it is such a large image. And then you can either do it like this, where you go ahead and you lay your cardstock down. I just have a piece of Whisper White, Very Vanilla, and then you can lay it down onto your image. Sometimes standing up and looking directly above it does help. Of course, with the watercolor wash image, it's a little bit easier to kind of make it look a little messy if you're not perfectly straight, because it is such a, a messy swish. It's not a perfect lined image. The hardwood is kind of more of a perfectly lined image, but again, made with love, not perfection, so don't you worry about that. Another thing that you're going to make sure you want to do is you want to make sure that you press really well in the center, because this is such a larger image. If you're only pressing on the outside, then you're going to end up having like a hole where there's no ink in the middle because it didn't press, so the ink will still be on your image. So there you have that fabulous washed image. The other way that you can do it is to, again, ink it up upside down like that, and you just want to make sure that you just ink around. You don't really want to press hard, or otherwise it just kind of goes squish and just bubbles and juices everywhere. You just want to kind of do a tap, tap, tap in reverse, where you're tapping upside down like this, making sure that it gets nice and covered everywhere. And then with this one, we're actually not going to pick the image up. We're going to leave it down there, and like this one might be a little bit easier for those who are doing something with straight lines like the hardwood. Then we're going to just take our cardstock and lay it on top. Now once you set it down, you need to go for it. Don't like lay it down and then move it, because otherwise you're just moving the image underneath. And then you can take a piece of, like, this is my grid paper, but you could always take a piece of printer paper or any other scrap paper that you might have laying around, and you just want to like rub all over. And the reason why I use the scrap paper is because some of that image might not be, like, see there's a little bit of orange there. Some of that image might not be covered by the cardstock, so I don't want you to get like inky fingers everywhere. And then this way you're giving that nice firm pressure everywhere. Again, you're going to want to like pull it off pretty quick and simple. I do have this little weird splotch there. I wonder if it was from my ink pad or whether there's something on my stamp. But again, you have that nice fabulous image where it's nice and on there perfectly. Again, you could always go a little bit straighter if you had a straight line of the hardwood that you were using that on. So that kind of helps a little bit too. And again, you have that even pressure because you actually pressed all over, whereas the other way, did you press it all the way? You're not really sure. So then, this way you can make sure that you give that nice even pressure. So those are the two ways that I like to do those large stamps. You can see both of them here. Maybe they go, yeah, I think they go just like that. So you can see that both of them came out pretty well. And you know, it's just something that you just kind of have to play with and find the right technique. Like I said, sometimes I get really nervous doing it upside down like that, but the more I've done it, the more I've kind of gotten used to it, and it works really well. Or I just, you know, kind of wing it and flip it over and hope for the best. So you can try whichever one you want. Of course, I'm not an expert, and it doesn't come out perfect every time for me either. But I just thought I'd share some tips on using those larger images to get that perfect stamped image. Of course, you can always check out my blog, laurastamppad.com, to see some of my fabulous creations. And don't forget to subscribe if you're new. I post every Tuesday and Thursday. And be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. I'll see you next time. Happy stamping. Bye-bye.